A 13-year-old homeless kid. When we were wandering about aimlessly, we eventually ended up in a small temple in the middle of nowhere. We turned that temple into an interim base of operations for a period of time. One bright afternoon, I was roused from my afternoon nap by a rumbling sound. In a daze, I opened my eyes to find the old gentleman flipping the worn-out pages of an old book while doing some kind of intense exercise with his other hand under the rag. He wore a really obsessed expression which I had never seen before. "1 What are you doing?" the me at that time asked. Advertisements. Perhaps the old gentleman was too focused on reading. He was startled by me. His complexion changed from blue to red, then from red to blue. It seemed like something that meant a lot to him had been destroyed by me. 2 He only snapped back to reality after 3 whole minutes. I was studying. He used the right hand which was hidden under the rag to adjust his non-existent glasses. "Is there any point for a wanderer like you to study?" I asked. The old gentleman squinted his eyes, which seemed to reflect light. "Even if you're a wanderer, you still cannot be illiterate. Otherwise, how can you tell if the food has expired, or judge the size of a woman's breasts from the bra they discarded?" "Oh," the young me replied with a lack of interest and went back to sleep. If I could return to that time, I definitely would have pulled the rags covering his body and knelt in front of him to make him teach me the real meaning of studying. Advertisements, because only now had I realized just how important a lesson was he trying to impart upon me at that time. An illiterate has no human rights. The great ancestor's blood contained his lifetime magical knowledge. As long as I could master them and some more, I would be able to sweep across this world, do whatever I pleased, start a harem, and step into the summit. Even the dream of ascending to godhood to reconstruct my body, press my oo against the 2 retarded goddesses and had them reincarnate as lizards wouldn't be too far off. 3 However, I couldn't even recognize a single character that emerged in my brain. This was just like spending $10 to buy a martial arts book, only to find yourself unable to go to school to study because you had spent the money on the martial arts book. You couldn't read a single letter in the book, but when you turned around to ask the old man to refund the money so you could go to school and buy the book again at a later date, he was already gone without a trace. It's a path full of despair. Damn it, don't tell me I didn't even earn a single cent from this? I was so angry that I reflexively punched the dragon monument. Only then did I realize my hand was holding onto a 20 centimeters long divine weapon. Although 3/4 of the sword didn't possess any destructive power and only 1/4 was capable of harming others, at the very least, I still managed to earn a single cent from this trip, right? Even if that cent was already broken in half. Just like all the other protagonists out there, if they encountered some old masters or ancestors, and whatnot, they would at least obtain a divine weapon and secret techniques to boost their own cheat level. I also feel that I have received a considerable benefit from this, or at least, I have gained a cool name, didn't I? Advertisements. That's right, my true name is so cool, it's called Chaos Dragon, Arte. What was it again? I seem to recall the last name being Lilith, but the middle, it's not like I've forgotten my name, it's just that my soul has just returned to my body, so my brain is a little short-circuit. That's right, that was it. As in my previous life, now the Princess of Dragons, there's no way I can forget my name at the drop of a hat. Don't kid with me, you should know that, even with numerous true names in my previous life. This chapter is provided to you by Relibrary. Please visit Relibrary to show the translators your appreciation and stop supporting the content thief. It seems that I also couldn't remember a single one. It looks like I'm done for. Not only will I become the most uncivilized dragon, but I will also become the dumbest dragon in history. I recalled those group of fools. I really didn't want to admit that I was dumber than them. "My dearest daughter, did something happen?" A gentle voice came from my side. When I turned towards the voice, I found my mother, who appeared beside me unknowingly, with a compassionate smile on her face. The other dragons also began to soar into the sky, flapping their uselessly big wings as they flocked around the dragon monument. That warm feeling involuntarily occupied my heart again. "Advertisements, it's nothing," I answered while shaking my head. A clear yet childish voice left my mouth unhindered. Even I was shocked by my own voice. My hand unconsciously touched my lips to make sure the voice had indeed come out from my own mouth. I can speak? Mother was also surprised, but she rebooted in 2 seconds later and pulled me into her embrace. Kia, my dear daughter can speak already? Mommy is so happy. My head was buried deeper into her breasts than I ever had. All I felt was my face being covered in a huge and damp cotton. Although it was a very splendid feeling, I felt that I wouldn't be able to last for 3 seconds in there. The can't breathe, dear daughter, what are you saying? Mother tilted her head and asked. I used my hand to push as hard as I could and finally opened a small gap between my face and the breast. I said I can't breathe. Oh my, would you just look at how excited I was. My bad, don't be angry, it's Mommy's fault. Mother rubbed my head while she apologized. She didn't look apologetic at all. Wow. You can speak already, Your Highness. Karen, who was flying around the dragon monument, suddenly poked his huge head over and asked. Advertisements, I nodded. Karen's dragon eye opened wide and said with a slight variation in pitch, as expected of the princess. You can already speak after such a short time. This chapter is provided to you by Relibrary. If you are reading this, that means this content is stolen. Please support us by visiting our site. After that, he looked up and shouted in a loud voice audible even tens of miles away, the princess can speak. Upon hearing that, the surrounding dragons crowded the area like vultures that caught the scent of rotting flesh. 1,000-odd dragons surrounded me and blocked any lights from passing through. It was so crowded that some dragons couldn't flap their wings, so they simply folded it and levitated in the sky. So those pairs of wings were really there for show only. Princess, you really can speak already. As expected of Your Highness, it has only been half a day. Tell you what, that little brat in my house took 30 years to learn how to speak. That's because your child is stupid. How can he be compared to our princess? Come, Your Highness, call me uncle, you fool. How can you make the princess call you uncle? How cheeky. Your Highness, you can call this humble servant a stupid dog. Advertisements, hey, what's with this celebratory feeling just from me being able to speak? And that one who asked me to call you a dog, you are an absolute M4, aren't you? If the great ancestor knew there's such a perverted M among the dragons, let's see how he deals with you. Even I would feel embarrassed to let others know. Why are you not calling? Your Highness, just once is good enough. Let me experience the thrill of being insulted by the cute little princess' poisonous tongue. Actually, let's not wait for the great ancestor. I will personally kill you now.